alumni team takes the floor against the 7 seed, the Money team. Back T20, mostly the same as they've been in the past. 4 9-minute quarters. So these games fly by. A player is disqualified after his 6th personal foul. That's the same as in years past as well. That's like the NBA. On the 5th team foul of each quarter, all non-shooting fouls will be awarded 2 free throws. That's the bonus scenario. FIBA goaltending rules apply here, which allow any player to make a play on the ball once it hits the rim, except on free throws. That last bit is a TBT caveat. Each team has 3 30-second timeouts plus a 60-second TO, and 2 of the 3 30-second timeouts will carry over to the second half. Jen mentioned a lot of players have TBT experience on this roster, playing with Team Fredette, a team that went all the way to the TBT Final Four in 2018. Heard that in the whites, and it's TMT, the Money team's Jordan Crawford, that takes the opening tip. And a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Air Force Reserve. Explore your opportunities with the Air Force Reserve. Coach, go ahead.
It'll be interesting to see the chemistry of this Money team, and more importantly, can the Herd team keep them off the glass and defend the paint?
John Elmore nearly threw it away. Ryan Taylor keeps it alive for Herd that, and an early takeaway in the paint by Jeff Ledbetter, who cut his hair. And an easy deuce. Willie Reed throws it down. This is Herd that second game of the tournament. They knocked off the Peoria All-Stars 80-65 in round 1. Taylor on the drive, draws the foul, and goes to the line.
It looks like he kind of tweaked his knee a little bit on that play.
He did. D'Antoni as the head coach of Marshall University. And did you notice some stylistic similarities with the Herd that team as Wilcher lays it in?
The three-point line, try to create large gaps to drive the ball, to kickouts or quick layups. So right there, that's the shot they want in transition in the half court by spacing the floor.
Ledbetter, a Team Fredette standout, turns it over. Here comes John Elmore, who almost had a triple-double in the first game. Pull-up 3, no, but how about Chris Coakley running the floor?
Layups and free throws. That's what Herd that wants to do.
Very fun system to play in, according to Ja'Cory Williams. And the big man, Big Tom.
Look exactly the same.
He let everyone know that if Herd that wins this thing this year, he's taking the team to Las Vegas and they're going to have a good time.
With 3-pointers this weekend, looking to do it again. He's having a great time out here.
Oh, he's getting some help from Chris Coakley, who 3, and Coach Ott Elmore, fantastic promoter. He tweeted out something else yesterday too about how he and his brother John are the Splash Brothers of the tournament, and wins this thing. And he's short on the free throw.
Yeah, Rote was the 25th pick of the Memphis Gritchery, and how he's kind of brought
you know what he's doing,
this
Jake?
talented
Jake, you know what he's doing?
together. Dave Nurse has been so impressed with the way Roten carries himself and the leadership he's given this team.
Well, this is a very deep team as well, Coach, from a depth perspective. As you see Bryce Alford, this down a long-range jump shot. And TMT, they can roll out a legitimate second unit at you, and we'll see if Herd that.
Alford, he is a big-time three-point shooter at UCLA. He made 317 threes. I mean, he had an incredible career if you think about it. He scored 1,700 points, 500 assists, and knocked down 317 threes. I'd say that's been a pretty good career at UCLA.
Now, Coach, that looks side for the 3-ball.
Yeah, anytime you get in a ball screen, you can drag 2. The whole idea of a ball screen is to make 2 plays. You can get 2 to play, then you're going to be 4 and 3 on the other side. Well, go to your bench and you bring Nick Johnson, who got drafted in the 2nd round by the Rockets. He's part of your second unit. He's not a good defender. He's an elite defender.
Well, and you already said that Bryce Alford is an elite 3-point shooter, and he's put it on display twice now. An 11-2 run for the Money team.
It's a great lesson for young players, because when Bryce Alford was coming out of high school, people thought he was a low to mid Division I player. All he did was put in work. He's a
who was an outstanding college player in his own right.
Okay. And what I was saying,
without ego, that's a problem when you're a team like Herd that.
Ryan Luther on a fine drive. The shot doesn't stick, but at 23-9 the score make that, but
just their shooting percentages, but they've assisted on 7 when you're playing good basketball. And that's what the TBT is about. High IQ guys that understand how to play. Their international experience is so valuable. Nice job.
Buddy, why they got that first round bye and are the 7th seed in this.
Get drafted. And the NCAA needs to should be able to come back and re-enroll in college. That rule must change. Devin Williams, this guy, gave it a shot, thought he was going to get drafted, didn't get drafted. The NCAA needs to change that rule and allow a player like that that doesn't get drafted to come back to his college.
Ryan Luther has given Hurd-That a spark off the bench, but here comes Nick Johnson running the floor right down Main Street, and he throws it away.
Yeah,
At UCLA, he would go up to Steve Alford and shake his hand, just say thank you for practice, and it's an infectious attitude that appears to be carrying over into TBT.
Each other and enjoy this experience. The TBT is like a big family, and then you have little families within each team, and those teams have good chemistry. They have a chance to win $1 million.
There's Jordan Crawford, a 4-year TBT veteran who knocks down a long-range jumper. Look at what's coming up as you see Zach Smith lay it in for Hurd-That.
And don't forget about Team Brotherly Love. I mean, they're going to play the Golden Eagles, and the Golden Eagles are as complete a team as there is with DJO, that addition, another guy that can score, but Brotherly Love. They've got Philly toughness, they've got high basketball IQ, they've got what I call floor gamers, guys.
Everline Drive last year, that's who he was coaching. He made this one, though. They haven't played together before, many of them. So it's why, big part of why you're seeing such a great chemistry on the court right now.
Well, that's a great reminder, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah, David Nurse is a positive guy, and he's just written a book, Pivot and Go, and it basically is about basketball, about life, about positivity. He's a high-energy guy that has done a great job of connecting us, and Ryder is one of his mentors. He's done a terrific job.
There's a stuff for Ja'Cory Williams, a player that our very own Seth Greenberg says has got NBA potential.
I think he's a terrific player. At 6'7", positionless, runs the floor. Think about that Middle Tennessee State team. 31 wins his senior year, the 1 year that he was there. They beat Minnesota in the NCAA tournament. Kermit Davis was the head coach there. Ja'Cory Williams has NBA talent.
So do a lot of players on the money team, however. Wilcher saves it for Roten, and it's become a 40-point first quarter for the money team in its TBT debut. Smith, tough take.
Let me ask you something right here. You look at this game right now, you look at the money team, you've seen every other team in the TBT. Are they the most talented team in the TBT?
So far, I'm going to say yes. The TBT single game scoring record is 141, and the money team is on pace to obliterate that.
Little high pick and pop right here coming.
Crawford steps back, dishes. And a shot clock violation with 4.2 seconds left in the quarter. I'm a little slow on the uptake, but bear with me. There's a heave by John Elmore. And what do you think? Let me flip that back around to you.
Big question about the money team was, you take all this talent, will they trust each other? Will they play together? Will they play as one? And that's exactly what they've done in the first quarter, dropping 40 points.
Another tough take by Rondale Watson.
He's not just writing checks either. He is all about the basketball. He zoomed in yesterday, to offer a pep talk to the team, which really helped lift their spirits. They were thrilled to get to talk to him. He told them how proud he was of them for enduring the bubble. Makes a big difference to this group, Chris.
Jen, thank you very much. Dan D'Antoni onto the program, joining us via Zoom. That as they try and get back in this game.
Just yet.
Coach, can you hear us? All right, we might be having some audio problems with Coach.
You put talent and unselfishness together, it's a hard matchup for Hurd-That.
Hurd-That pries it out of its defensive end, however. Coakley with the left hand buys a foul as well.
A Middle Tennessee State team that had success, and then you had the Hurd-That team or the Marshall team that had success in the NCAA tournament. That conference is well underrated.
That's a great point about this being a Conference USA All-Star team as much as anything.
Earlier, he shot fake, got in the lane, shot a pull-up. Now he knocks down that three, and showing a little offensive versatility, not just being a pick-and-pop guy, I think is very important as he tries to get to the next level. And Wilcher, that's a basketball family. I mean, his Canadian national team, and in fact, it's interesting because his dad did that, and Nick Nurse is the head coach of the Canadian national team right now, which is David Nurse's uncle. The games are extremely competitive, but there's usually a great deal of respect. But, you know, when you start getting whacked pretty good, I mean, right there, Kyle Wilcher, he just right on top of him. But that's a technical foul. I mean, he doesn't, right? The guy took a charge. Whether he flopped or not, I don't care.
Head coach Dan D'Antoni. Coach, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right, great to be with you. Heard that down 10 here in the second quarter.
Ball gets swung around and they get the same look. So it's a game of runs. I've always told them when they play for me. Exciting, they're fun. People enjoy playing with them. We had a lot of success. Got it from them, and they love to play the game.
Orlando, you know, to restart the NBA season. What are your thoughts on the NBA restarting and just how that the players, coaches are going to adapt to being in that bubble?
Well, you know, it's different circumstances than all of them, but they love playing basketball. You know, a lot of people think, you know, once you get to the NBA, it's all about money, but those kids, 90% of those in the NBA love playing basketball. So when they get to Orlando, they're going to play basketball and put on a good show. It should be fun.
Well, Heard that is trying to claw back in this game, and a big three-pointer by Coach. When you see your former players out on the floor right now, whether it be one of the Elmore brothers or Ryan Taylor, how do you think they've improved since they were under your tutelage at Marshall? What a stuff that time. Hold that thought, Coach. Maybe you can comment on rebound Welsh. Alford. Cash for the money team.
How good is he? I mean, you look at his stats, 317 career threes, 5th leading scorer at UCLA. Think about all the great players, the All-American. He's the 5th leading scorer in the history of the school.
It's a great point. Roten, and the money team is starting to knock down some shots.
Going, and they can get Ja'Cory Williams going. That'll be something special. Then they've got to get Player of the Year in Conference USA. But he's as hard a worker and tough a player as he's ever coached. Just loves.
Crawford continues here in the second quarter. Alford with a hand in his face.
That's really good offense. Pin downs. Alford with a great job of getting behind the ball, knocking down that jumper. He is a world-class jump shooter.
He has not missed today either. One of the officials on the far side of the play indicated that it was a three-pointer, but the one closest did not. It's 54-50, the score right now. Here's Wilcher inside. Willie Reed fighting for it for the money team, and he draws the foul.
Went to the Final Four. Preseason, he was first team All Big 12 playing for Chris Beard.
Stay in it, stay in it, stay in it. Stay in it.
Good defense by Santino DiTrapano for Heard that. Crawford gets around him on the second try. Alford, no way!
Did we just say on that penetration? And, you know, Alford, not only is he a great shooter, but obviously he gets it off really quick. I think it's in his genes because his dad could make a couple of shots.
Got to upgrade that to all Galaxies.
He would like to either get into...
It is overrated, Coach. It takes a lot of work to get this thing ready to go in the morning. You know, I wish I could just roll out of bed. Alford, that's his first miss of the game.
I like that they continue to go back to him. That's an NBA concept. The guy gets it going, you know what? You're going to go right and play through him. And that's David Nurse's background. That's really, really good coaching.
John Elmore with a beautiful dish to Zach Smith. And
yeah, this is Overseas Elite 2.0. Obviously, no D-Rel returning. He's played 26 TBT. Led Texas Tech to a Sweet 16. Terrific guard. And Scott Machado, who played at Iona. Incredible feel and impacts the game offensively and defensively. That Armored Athlete team plays really, really hard and with terrific guard play.
Carmen's Crew, the champion last year, they were a 14 back when the purse was only $500,000.
You know, Overseas Elite set the standard for the TBT in terms of toughness, how you play. DJ Kennedy became the LeBron James of the TBT. But more
Heard that chance is looking a lot better.
resort in West Virginia. One of the most incredible resorts in all of America. In fact, it's called America's Resort. That's where they had their training camp. I tried to volunteer to be a volunteer coach. They didn't take me. I'm disappointed.
I can't imagine why you were not accepted as Willie Reed throws it down. Why do you think that was?
I don't know, probably because I probably could add nothing to this team, but the Greenbrier is an absolute great place. They do a terrific job, and the connection between, obviously, the players at Marshall and Jim Justice, the governor, who also owns the Greenbrier, is a Marshall grad.
Well, Coach, you got to get out there and advocate for yourself. You got to say, don't you know who I am? Don't you people know who I am? Fairleigh Dickinson no. Star.
It's Harvard on the Hackensack to you. Right now, Herd That has got back into this game. They've gotten into this game by playing their style of basketball. They've gotten some stops. They've done a better job on the glass. A stop here would be huge.
Look out, another thunderous dunk, this time courtesy of Jacob Wiley, the Eastern Washington standout. And that takes us to halftime. Herd That puts the pressure on the money team after the money team scored. And the brain trust behind the Elam ending, none other than the professor, Nick Elam himself. Thank you very much for spending some time. And what do you think about the tournament big picture so far? How are you enjoying the setup and the style of play and everything in between?
Yeah, it's great to be with you. A great tournament so far, as always, and the style of play throughout the game that we're so used to seeing, where it's an up-and-down style, very physical.
That happened.
Well, I think I've shared this story with you, that it was actually in March 10th, 2007. I remember the light bulb went on watching an ACC tournament semifinal with Virginia Tech and North Carolina State. You had a first row seat for that game as coach of Virginia Tech. We see at the end of the game, it's attributable to the game clock, and maybe if you just got rid of the clock, maybe that would address those issues. So then started the process of its merit, then reaching out to people in the basketball world. And I'm always grateful that TBT, they were the first ones to give it a chance.
Bucket and the foul for Jordan Crawford. Chicago, in both a personal and professional way, what did you think?
Reaches a milestone like that, whether it's the NBA All-Star Game, whether it's being implemented, where the story goes from here.
Well, Nick, thanks very much, T.
All right, I'll work on that.
Thank you, sir. I think that has got to go to the top of your resume, the fact that you are the inspiration behind the Elam ending.
Yeah, the inspiration, and that game was to go to the finals of the ACC tournament, and it was an absolute brutal loss. We went to the NCAA tournament
season.
You know what's a great thing, Chris? I've got sound back, baby.
Really? You mean as we see Jacob Wiley with the airmail? Here's Wiley up the floor after a feed from Crawford. Pretty move.
Long shot, long transition basket. Wiley's giving him really good minutes. With Wilcher and a little bit of foul trouble, Wiley's been really solid.
Now Ja'Cory Williams. Wiley showing the range, but not enough touch. And Coakley with the stuff. That for the money team, David Nurse is managing this roster right now with all the NBA talent and just a big roster to begin with. How do you think he's handling his rotations?
Doing collectively with the team, no different than any other team. Getting everyone to buy into the good of the group, and I think he's done a great job. And this is the time I'm expecting Ja'Cory Williams to really try to impose his will a little bit on this game. He's a guy that can get him easy baskets.
I don't know if that was an easy basket, but you're right on cue. Ja'Cory Williams finishes with the left.
Active, Herd That's gotten defensively. They're switching. I like that Zach Smith's in the game, and now they're out in transition again.
Chance to make it a one-possession game. Williams, spin cycle, going to the line.
I love Williams' aggressiveness, hands, but the screens will be more in the middle of the floor.
Paced Herd That with 22 points in game.
How about Gay Elmore and John Elmore? They are the highest father-son scoring team in college basketball history. You would think it would be the Curry family, but for a father and son, not the whole family,
Yeah, Jeff, here we
Gay
go.
Elmore and John Elmore.
You might have 1 and 1A there between Curry and Aldridge as the two best players in Davidson program history, and that's Ledbetter who lights the lamp on another three-pointer for the money team.
So many different weapons. And Peyton Aldridge, he was a terrific player, a 2,000-point scorer. He was the A-10 player of the year. I mean, here's a guy
scoring games in the tournament so far.
Help Tom. Help Tom.
Beautiful pass from brother to brother, but John throws it away in the direction of Ott.
Play and make a shot.
We don't need the three.
Aldridge again, bottoms.
Match up. Don't foul.
Jordan Crawford is so good because he sees all 5 defenders. And our friend Cellos talks about different levels of ball screen offense. I kind of talk in relation. Good offensive players and ball screens read the hedge defenders. Really good offensive ball defenders lead the weak side defenders. And you've got to be up to read all 5 defenders when you're coming off a ball screen. And that's exactly what Crawford has the ability to do.
Oh, that was a heat check 3 for Aldridge. It would have been the money team's 4th in a row. Williams, what a thing. Winning shares sent to Zell. He's short on the second one. Impressive rebound by Nick Johnson for the money team. He's still with it now, and that's an offensive foul. The late, great Dennis Johnson, a 3-time NBA champ and a Hall of Famer with the Celtics. If you're liking this game, we've got another good one in the pipeline. Armored Athlete versus Overseas Elite to round out the quarterfinal field. That's coming up later today. Mid-range game, courtesy of the Texas Tech product, Zach Smith.
We're good.
A really big-time shot right there. Zach Smith has NBA athleticism. He's starting to shoot the ball better, and he's healthy. He was not healthy his senior year, but he can defend multiple positions. Ridiculously athletic. He runs the floor. He can rebound the basketball. If he shows he can shoot the ball in time, he could play himself into a very nice contract, either in the States or internationally.
Ledbetter misses the NBA range 3. One final crack for her, that in the third quarter. Elmore into Smith. They teamed up for the best alley-oop of the tournament so far, and a last-second three-point shot by Rondell Watson goes begging.
Tomorrow, man, if you're a basketball junkie, if you want to see good, high-level competitive basketball, tune into those.
Alford in and out. Beautiful play by Ledbetter on the opposite side of the floor to lead him to that spot. It's Williams. He loves that spin move.
Big possession right here for Herd that.
How come?
That's a chance to get in. They can't. Great catch right there, because when the Elam ending's coming up, you got to be within 2 to 4 points of the Elam ending, or that is a lot to overcome, because it is hard getting stops and defending without fouling in the Elam ending.
Broughton missed the layup.
This is huge right now. These buckets coming into the Elam ending. Oh, nice play again. Getting a 3 right here.
Can you imagine a one-point game potentially? Still some time before the Elam ending when we get under 4 minutes. Watson fumbles it away. Online and across all platforms, really, Coach.
Well, thank you very much. You know, the cool thing about this whole bat team is, and that is a huge 3. That was Crawford, if I'm not mistaken. And then the other way,
That's a goaltender.
he will make you pay. The Bowling Green, great, really hard to defend. In ball screens, make good. Basketball is overseas, so obviously without ego.
And 14. John Elmore curling around. Crawford matched up on him.
Really good job of Crawford staying in front of the basketball so you don't have to switch.
How about that ball movement to Chris Coakley?
TMT's doing a really good job of staying with the basketball and not over-helping.
Alford. He made his first 4 3-point shots of the game. Back to Coakley. Soft lay in. 4-point game. 1 minute to the Elam ending.
They don't go away. I think Dan D'Antoni said it best. You know what? They're going to give up some runs, but they're going to have some runs themselves. They just keep playing.
They just keep playing.
End in transition.
How about the putback by Wiley?
Get back. Good job, Jake. Good job, Jake.
Wiley's been very good for the money team.
Help him. Help him.
Alley-oop not there. Just too far and close to the rim for Zach Smith.
We're good.
Alford all alone. That's a free throw.
Big shot, B. Hey, match up.
What leaves his hands are calling bucket, and that is a back-breaking bucket.
I know better by
so
now. Williams stuffed by Wiley.
Do they use the timeout? Do they get the timeout? Do they play on? Up 9, you're going to play on? What are you going to do, Chris?
Wait till it gets past.
Looks like they're going to take the timeout as soon as it gets under 4 minutes. Think that's a good idea?
Exactly.
TBT
Jake, you
2020
gotta go
today.
through. Jake, you
Target
gotta go
score
through.
equivalent to the leading team score plus
Go
8.
get him, go get him.
You
Go get
play
him
to
again,
that
go get him
score
again,
and
go
not
get him
until the
again.
end of the game clock. By the way, common foul in the bonus, actually just in general in the Elam ending. One shot and possession of the ball. Here's Coakley with a good start to the Elam ending for Herd that.
Nice job of Coakley. You've got to stop the basketball in defensive transition, and Coakley's done a nice job at the other end of the floor converting in transition.
Coakley has been a beast as Tony Roten is fouled for
good between them. Gay at VMI and obviously John at Marshall. That's a lot of points, man.
well, and we've
That's a
been,
career.
well, we've been over this. Don't leave off the 77 that my man Ott scored.
I know, but we add Ott, then you got to bring more people into the equation. I'd say just father and son, they have more points than the Curry family. And let me tell you, Del Curry, you see how good Steph Curry is. Del Curry, when he was at Virginia Tech, every time he shot from the logo where like the Air Force Reserve logo is, and it was only 2 points. That's how good a shooter he was.
Well, an opportunity right now for Herd that to keep the pressure on in the Elam ending. The money team has not been as hot as we've seen. Coakley, Luther tries to tap it back in, but there's Welsh.
Go. Why stop? Go. Get downhill.
Traveled. And Herd that has only shot 21 threes. They shot 29 in their first round game.
Oh, offensive.
Here's number 22.
All right, here's a little quiz right there. Why have they only shot 21? Because the money team has the ability to defend the ball one-on-one, not overhelp.
Use it.
So therefore, you have fewer step-in threes.
I could have aced that test.
Get back, you carried it.
Now you could.
Right now, yeah, now
You're
that I
very
got
coachable. You're very coachable.
Now that I got the
You
answers.
probably didn't have enough quinoa today.
Luther short on the jump hook. Nick Johnson in the lane, back out to Crawford.
That's a good extra pass. And that's the whole idea. Dribble penetration, flatten the defense, step in threes.
Help Tom.
Coakley goes to the line.
Yes, dribble penetration, kick out. That's just really for it. Herd that rebounds and 250 assists. He's a big part of what they do.
Offensive foul.
We're good. Hey!
Herd that's best chance is with him on the floor.
Good Nick.
All-time leading
watch this
scorer in
possession.
Conference USA history.
Good Nick.
And watch how the money team, they don't have to overhelp. There they did. They overhelped on that, which gave up an open three.
We're good. Look at him post. High low. Look at the seal. Go two.
Wiley had it batted out of his grasp by Luther of Herd that in order to win this game, or 10-3 actually.
Be ready, slip Tom. Get it back. We're good. Plenty of time. Open side. Stay out, Tom.
Beautiful pass to Wiltshire, but he pumps.
Go ahead.
Johnson, elbow. Rebound won by Coakley.
Solid possession defensively by heard that. Now they've got to get good, solid offensive possession to put some game pressure on the money team.
Tough shot by Coakley. Did you want to see that?
I'd like something downhill at the basket. Same here. I think that the money team right now, they got to get in the offense a little quicker. They're better when they play fast, and they're better when they play through space. A little horns action, too high screens at the top. They'll look to reverse the ball and get it inside.
Deep three, Crawford in and out. John Elmore the rebound.
It's amazing when you get close to the Elam ending, how you can hear like the air in the gym just gets sucked out. I mean, the pressure to get to that number, even in a game where you've got a legitimate lead.
Luther.
Now you got to get a stop. Right now, this is about keeping the ball in front, getting a stop, getting a rebound, and forcing a contested shot.
Keep it moving, keep it moving.
Wilcher.
The head coach will say, keep the ball moving.
Good, Kyle.
Got it back. That was some great defense by John Elmore. It was Wilcher who had the last save.
Help him, Tom. Little bit of help. Good. Swing it.
Ja'Cory Williams, good ball handling skills. I mean, two defenders, and he completes the play with the... If the money team scores here, the game is over. On the pick and roll, it's taken away by Rondale Watson. Coakley scores. 2-point game.
They would have had a chance where the three could win it. One more stop, this thing's gonna get interesting.
There he is. You ready, Tom?
Wilcher for the win.
Get back.
Rebound Williams. All right, coach, take me into the huddle here. What are you drawing up?
Right now you're going at the basket. You got to get a stop no matter what. You're not settling, you're going at the rim.
Costly miss. Transition
That's a jump
opportunity for
stop.
the money team. Williams.
Drive it.
Blocking foul.
I haven't called for 40 minutes.
Costly. He's got 28.
This will be a major league upset. Look for paint touches, kickouts, and downhill drives. Here's one downhill drive. Oh, that was a walk.
Second chance, but a foul. And it puts Devin.
Best defensive team. All right, who are my best ball at the screen defenders, and who the guy's hand, the ball has to be in his hands?
He misses them both.
I think you go
Wins
for
it
the
for
win
Herb
right
then.
now.
Back, Tony.
Go for the win right now.
Come this far. Go for the win is right. I agree,
Here it
Coach,
comes.
completely.
Watch. Here's the curl. Here's the pop. Ah, they did a good job guarding it.
Luther, open lane. And a thunderous dunk by Ja'Cory Williams.
Look, the money team knows they couldn't give up a three, so they were going to give up a two. They wanted the ball back.
This is the first time Heard That has led all day. A bucket wins for either team. About as good of an Elam ending as we have had in TBT 2020. Roten, stripped, saves it. Alford, he was out of bounds. Heard that ball.
To drive the basketball.
Coach.
Oh, wait a second. His heel was not down. See, no foul is the key, because right now, if you're in the bonus, a common foul is a free throw and the ball. You cannot settle to be a jump shooting team. Here's the screen. I would get it to Ja'Cory Williams for a drive.
Instead, it's Luther for the win.
Wow. How about that comeback? That was dead. there, Tony, right there saying, you know what, it's a game of runs. We just got to keep on playing. Dribble penetration, short roll. Ryan Luther